it's becoming two personal opinions. So what I'll try to do in the available time is I'll try to walk you through whatever is happening in India and across the world, and hopefully you will all be joining engineering stream, and post engineering you'll start contributing to the community, the country as a whole. Thank you all, and this is primarily a presentation, but slides are readable for yourself. I'm not going to read the slides. However, we'll try to discuss the content of the slide. Okay. So is the slides available to, visible to everybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. And uh, one of the things, let's try to understand basic things. What is a engineering process? Why an engineer is different from any other field? The question is like we are taught in engineering certain things like. Sir mentioned in my introduction that I have done 3 engineering doctorates. So these are not typical doctorates or honorary doctorates, which are commonly seen in our country. These are engineering doctorates where you're taking the engineering problem, doing research on that, and coming up with a solution which is kind of reviewed by a lot of global experts, and finally, if they agree to it, then you are kind of rewarded the engineering doctorate. So engineering is not just a degree. You can go start from degree, you can get into post graduation, and you can continue all the way to engineering doctorate as well. So what is the difference here? One of the things what we are learning in engineering at any level is how do you identify and define a problem? Often it's very difficult for a non-engineering person to articulate a problem or even identify what is the root cause of a problem or what is the real problem itself. Common sentences we come across, it's so bad weather, or we say that it's a rainy day, there's water everywhere, or there's so much traffic in Bangalore. These are common statements, but you have to identify what is the problem. And you have to define the problem. So that's something we learn in engineering. Once you identify and define a problem, then you will be able to analyze the problem. That's what we learn in engineering again. Once you analyze the problem, you're going to propose solutions which you believe are going to fix the problem or solve the problem. And for these solutions, you have to uh, select and design a preferred solution. You got to implement the solution, and you got to support the users if at all they have any unforeseen issues. So it's an end-to-end process, that we generally are expected to do as an engineer. Now, irrespective of whatever branch of engineering we want to study, this is common thing which engineering brings across. So I try to put in a very simple flow chart. Of course, there are other things of engineering person learns, maybe part of that branch or part of that particular discipline he or she has taken up. But this is in general common for all branches of engineering. So you may ask, where do I bring innovation? Where do I do something new? Now, what is that other things I learn? So in your curriculum, when you join as an engineer, you'll have that options, like there are core subjects, and the most of the curriculum today in VTU is practical oriented, not so much on theory. So you're going to apply what you're going to learn. It's no longer just theory, you're not just going to learn something and say that I know about it. You're going to apply whatever you have learned, and more focus is given on practical application of your knowledge. Second is you're encouraged to take up electives. Some are related to your subject, some are list of electives which you can select, and the skill enhancement is also encouraged, and you also do projects, you do internship, so you get a holistic experience compared to what was engineering education earlier. If you look back about 10-20 years back, all these options were not there. It was more like a classroom and lab kind of a learning process. So today we have more practical and also more career oriented course being made available through BTU in our state, and likewise across the country by different institutions. So this is one big difference that engineering education brings across. Now let's try to understand what is happening across the world. We generally talk about uh, how the world is changing. We say that, okay, there's a lot of internet happening, there's digitization happening, automation happening. People are talking about artificial intelligence. People are talking about robotics. People are talking about IoT. People are talking about cyber security. Now, what all is changing? Where does all these things come in? So, what was primarily, we will talk about a traditional IT operating model. IT has been there for quite some decades. So earlier it was like, you had it like a very consolidated way of doing things. So whatever application you wanted, you would plan that, build it, then you're going to execute it and manage and control that. That's one of the core activities, and business users are going to use it, or your customers are going to use it, and your vendors or your uh, sourcing partners, or what we otherwise call as a supply chain, they also could be integrated into your application, and it's like a blocks kind of a system. It was very traditional operating model. You take a bank, you take a industry, you take agriculture, you take even a government department. So you name it, and this was the core of whatever they were trying to do in the IT space.
Sir,
Now it's
full
all
screen, sir.
changed.
Sir,
It's
please
a,
make
so
it full screen, sir.
sorry.
Please make the presentation full screen, yes, sir. Slide, slideshow.
Could you come again? I'm not able to hear you.
Make it slideshow, sir. Full screen. The presentation is visible in thumbnails and previews.
Okay. You gone in for full screen. Is it not
Not it.
visible?
It is visible, sir, but the previous slides are also visible. Side view panel.
Oh, okay.
In the slideshow, the second option you can click, sir. From current slide, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Perfect, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Continue,
you.
sir.
Thanks for that. I was not aware this was coming up there. Sorry about that. So, what I'm trying to say is, in the changing world, what we're today having is, you have a traditional model, but these are all working independently. In the sense like the customer may be in a different country or a different state, and the user also may be distributed across the world or across the country, and your vendors could be in any place, and there's a lot of centers of excellences that are coming up. It is no longer just we do something, we go away, and everything is business as usual. You are going to excel in your discipline. If you're going to say that I am a retail industry, then I want to be the best retail industry. If I'm in transportation, I want to be the best in that field. So how do I become best? It's not just I think I am best. I have to have a comparable data for that. So what I try to do that is I try to find out what the industry standards are, what the global industry standards are, and then I start adopting that into my company. You might all have heard about ISO standards, for example. So it's a global standard. Now, if you start implementing that and prove that you're actually audit ready, you have implemented successfully, that gives you a lot of advantage when you talk to your customers or even within the organization. So this is a ecosystem based approach today, and this is actually bringing in a big change in how engineers work. Earlier, we had some very traditional jobs available. Like I'm an electrical engineer, then I'll only work in the electrical industry. If I'm electronics industry engineer, I'll work only in electronics industry. If I'm civil engineer, I will only do civil work. Now, those are traditional jobs which are still existing, but today we are finding, it's a kind of multifunctional roles that are coming together or multidiscipline coming together. You may be a core as an electrical engineer, but doesn't prevent you from learning computer science or using AI in your field or even looking at cyber security. You can adapt to all these additional technologies and become a kind of a multidiscipline professional. So that is the need today, and that's what your curriculum also tries to encourage in your college, whichever your college is. So please try to focus on that. And the stress today is not on just your academics and how many grades you got and things like that. You are you have to use the opportunity, the college, take help of your faculty, and all the online resources available by state and central government. Make use of that. Upgrade your skills. Upgrade your skills. Without skills, it's very difficult to build your career in any discipline. So this is the change. So I'll start with the primarily thing, people ask, okay, there's a BE course in data science, there's a BE course in artificial intelligence and ML. So what is the future of that? How is it different from computer science? What happens to that? So these are all specialized disciplines that have come up. Earlier, yes, we had a computer science, we had information science, but today the need is we have to have specialization. So we have a computer science, be in data science available or a degree in data science available, likewise in AI and ML. So what is the core here is you have to understand your subject very much. So what is the scope? How you're going to use this technology or this discipline in your work, and how you're going to build any solutions if you want to be on the development side, or you want to be in the implementation side or support side, then how are you going to implement the solutions and support your users? And if you want to be on the kind of R&D kind of work, even then how you're going to make a product out of a solution, or you can't make a product, at least how do you come up with a product framework? So related to this, everything comes in. It's like, okay, we hear about cloud, hear about a lot of new technologies that are coming up. So how do you integrate, for example, a AI solution, which is available at your workplace, and migrate it into a cloud? So you can't say, I not studied cloud at college, I don't know anything about it. You have to be at least having some awareness of what is cloud and how you're going to work with a team which is working on migration to cloud. So this is where your focus should be at college. Don't get stuck to one discipline saying, I don't have time, I didn't study that or this. Please make time. As students, your entire time should be on studies and skills only. So put that effort, that 4 years or 5 years effort, what you put in, that will help a long run in your entire career. So don't lose this opportunity and don't go with a feeling that let me start working, then I will learn all this. No, you won't have that much time and that much flexibility once you start working. It's very difficult. Anything you try to learn at work, it should be upgrading your skills. It should not be acquiring your basic skills. Because without basic skills, one, you won't get your job. Second, even if you get a job, you won't have time to upgrade it and come up to your peer level. So please spend the time what you have at your college, spend time at libraries, take your help of your faculty and all the online resources made available. Please try to devote more time to that and make good use of that. The same way we talk about ML, what primarily is called machine learning. So one of the core requirement in this is you had to understand end-to-end machine learning life cycle. Just as you have a project development life cycle or a product development life cycle, ML also has a life cycle. AI also has a methodology. Cybersecurity has a methodology. IoT has its own way of doing a project. So in any field. I have taken even smart manufacturing, or you have taken about green buildings, for example. You take chemical engineering, you take environment engineering. Any field, you have to learn end to end. You should be able to demonstrate that I know this subject, I know this life cycle, I know this methodology. And then you'll be able to say that I want to work in this space. For example, in this particular slide, I given machine learning life cycle. Maybe you just want to work on development. Okay. So you'll be probably working in modeling of data, or you'll be, kind of acquiring and exploring the data. Those are the areas you may like to work in. You don't want to be facing customer, or you don't want to get into support. You don't want to get into upgradations. You don't want to get into system integration. You just want to do technical development or software development in machine learning. So you should be able to say that, look, I understand this entire life cycle, but this is the particular area I want to work. Student, this is very important because when you apply for a job, please be very specific. What's your interest, what you know, and what kind of job you can do. Otherwise, it's very difficult for a company to understand what you will be interested in doing and try to give you that kind of work. Most common mistake what I have been seeing is people write in their objective in that particular biodata that any job, any suitable job, I'll work in that. No, you can't be so generalized. Please, you have spent 4 years in engineering. Please be very articulate what you want to do and why do you think you can do that. We all know that you're freshers and you don't have experience. That's fair enough, but still be very articulate what you want to do. Otherwise, it's very difficult for any HR or resourcing team to place you in anything. There may be a requirement, but if you are not very clear what you want to do, you'll be put in general pool and you may not find a very good or a positive response coming from the company. Whereas somebody else who has articulated his or her interest area may start getting better responses. Other than that, there is no politics, no money, nothing else involved in any hiring and all that. So don't get influenced by that kind of negative talk. It's very straightforward process. You have to be presenting yourself. And please be very articulate. Try to have some, dry runs or discussions within your college itself, and try to take the help of experts on how you can present yourself. That will help when you start looking for careers. Now, methodology, as I said, this is one of the methodologies what we talk in AI space. So this again, it gives a lot of options on what you think you want to work. Now, every company has its own definition of methodology. I've taken the IBM example here. Now, what is an IBM may be very unique to IBM, but more or less the top line, what you have, the ideation, data acquisition, research, development, validation, deployments, all this what you find on the top line, that's almost the same. What you find in the bottom line, that's a very typical IBM technology. That's Watson technology developed by IBM. So they have try to link along with that and try to bring a methodology very specific to IBM. So more or less, any of these life cycles methodologies are standard. There may be some customization depending on the company you're going to work or potentially look for working, but you have to know the core methodology in and out. There's no options there. See, we talk about good to have skills and must have skills. What I'm right now talking is must have skills. As an engineer, you're supposed to know these things. There's nothing like, oh, I don't know, I will come and learn in 6 months, 3 months, whatever it is. No, you don't qualify there itself. Okay. Good to have skill is, okay, if at all you have worked on this, you did a extra course somewhere, you got a certification for doing some work, or you use this knowledge in your project, or you try to do this in your internship, that is good to have. Not everybody may have that opportunity, depending on the college, but if you have got that opportunity or you are able to do that, it's good to have. Okay. So AI, let's look at artificial intelligence, how it works in manufacturing. So I give an example of one manufacturing process where all AI can be used. So why I put the slides is for you to start practicing this. If you say that, okay, I want to be in manufacturing industry, you should be able to understand what type of manufacturing industry it is, what are the process they're following, and where you want to work. You may want to work on the shop floor, you may want to work in the design department, you want to be in the quality control, you want to be in customer care, you want to be on some innovation or R&D kind of a department. Wherever you want, you should first understand the process flow there. We talk about it as business process. So please try to look for this. Some of the examples you get it on Google as well. Otherwise, please take the help of your faculty. And lot of literature is available online as well as in your library. Please spend some time there and try to practice these things. So commonly what happens in an interview is people try to understand how much you know about your work or the job what you applied for. It's not like, I'll come and do anything, somebody has to teach me. No, it's very difficult for somebody who is already busy in their work to teach you. They can support you, but nobody can handhold and teach you. So you should be doing some homework, then deciding whether this job I want to do, then apply. Don't keep on applying anywhere and everywhere you find an opening, and then think, okay, let me get this job. Then later on, I will change after 1 month, 6 months, 1 year. Don't do that. You'll be losing a lot of time, and more frequently you change your job, more difficult it will be for you to get into good companies. Please be conscious about that. So given in supply chain, the supply chain is common across any field. You look at building construction, you look at retail, you look at transportation, you look at telecommunication, look at even government, public sector units, defense, aerospace, wherever it is, supply chain plays a very important role. So I've just taken this example of AI and supply chain, how AI is typically used in the supply chain. You may say, I don't know to be in AI, but at least you should know what is supply chain. Okay. So map this out like this and try to look at, what is the inventory optimization. We all understand what is inventory and what is the cost of carrying inventory. So if you can optimize the inventory that a particular business unit is carrying, then probably that's cost saving for that particular customer. So you have to understand how you're going to do that. So it's a small kirana shop near your place of residence, or it will be a very big company like Amazon having multiple warehouses. Wherever you're able to do this kind of work, inventory optimization, the immediate results are one, it saves on costs, carrying costs we talk. Second thing is it also saves on space, and space is a premium everywhere. So you have to start mapping your interest to whatever jobs you have in mind or whatever career you have in mind. This is a basic homework you have to do. And even if you're selecting a course in engineering, please select something which you want to build your career on. Don't go with this is a very, very much in demand course. If I do this, I'll immediately get a job. I'll go abroad. No, nothing like that. You don't have a formula like that. Everything depends on you. If you have made a right choice of your course, if you have spent the right time on acquiring skills, then you're able to present yourself very correctly, then there's no reason why you shouldn't get a job. Okay. So this is for primarily you can look at even IoT, you can look at people interested in semiconductor or embedded software or even electronics. A lot of industrial automation is happening. So in automation, please don't try to look at it in a very negative way that every automation means people are being losing jobs. Maybe some of the routine jobs are going away, but new jobs are coming up. And today, most of the automation is happening in a very phased manner. There's nothing like all jobs are going to get automated tomorrow. No, it doesn't happen. Not all jobs can be automated, but wherever automation is possible, data is coming in, and it's kind of supplementing our work. It's not actually removing people. It's trying to make it more safer, more productive for anybody who to work in that particular establishment. So here is primarily I taken a case of using a single chip wave sensor. How we are going to use that in a particular factory kind of a scenario, and how we are going to use information gathered by that and process it and come up with your inferences or reports. So it might be a very small sensor. This is actually developed by Texas Instruments. But the question is, we have to understand if you're talking about sensors, you're talking about automation, you're talking about robotics, you're going to talk about IoT, then please try to understand how many type of sensors are there, who is making them, and where can I use it. I want to use it in automobile. I want to use it in industry. I want to use it in medical. Wherever you want to use it, please try to understand something about it. You may not get a chance to actually work in all that fields while you're as a student in the college, but at the same time, there's no harm in knowing how many type of sensors are available, who is making it, and where they're being used. And if at all you get a chance, please read some white papers. Please try to go through some case studies and try to get an overall understanding of what it is. And this is a smart homes or smart hotels, which are becoming very popular even within India. So, as I said earlier, it's no longer just civil construction, a routine job. It's even building smart homes, smart cities. There's a lot of work where technology is also involved, and not the routine technology. We're talking about integration of different technologies here. You have electronics here, you have mechanical here, you have robotics here, you have IoT here, you have AI here, you also have cybersecurity here. So it's not just a building as it was earlier. It's already integrated with a lot of technologies, and that brings in a lot of facilities for the resident or the user. And you can even integrate your mobile and create an app along with that. So you'll be able to control whatever is the temperature in that particular room, and without even being in the room. Maybe you're at office and you want to go home. You can decide what should be the temperature in your room. If you want to take a bath after going home, then you can switch on the geyser from wherever you are. And by the time you reach home, it will be hot water available. So you can enjoy your bath, or you want to warm your food, you can try to switch on your microwave and keep the food warm so that you don't have to again come home and wait for food to be warm. So like this, you can do a lot of things remotely. So this is integration purposes. And if you look at integrating all these technologies, that itself is a very big career opportunity. We call it system integration, or today the better word is system development. You'll be having multiple technologies, but you're going to integrate all that together. So that it's also a very, very important role, and that's having a lot of requirements in India and abroad as well. So you can also look that as a career opportunity. And we hear about, cyber security, how many type of cyber threats are happening, cyber attacks are happening. And this gives just one image of some of the commonly encountered cyber attacks or cyber threats, which establishments and also government and individual face across the world. But this is not exhaustive in the sense it doesn't say all the threats, all the problems what we're facing, but at least know that okay, what really happens in the cyber crime. Don't just go with jargon. Everything is hacking. Everything is manageable by virus or malware. Don't go with the rudimentary thought. If you want to work in cyber security space, please have in-depth knowledge at least about what is happening. For example, I given three things here. One is the services. So there may be cyber crime as a service. Somebody is distributing malware or virus or worm and trying to disturb or even ransomware. Monetization, okay, they've done an attack. They want to steal the data. They want to sell it somewhere. They want to misuse it. They want to get into extortion or blackmail, or they may be cheating people and stealing money from their bank accounts, credit cards, debit cards, whatever way. That's monetization. So if you look at it, the entire crime will be probably able to fit it in three headings. One is most of them are services, some of them involve in distribution, and a good lot of them, maybe one and two, is also involved in monetization. So you can map it and then decide what I should do. If you look at this map, you have so many career opportunities here. One is you'll be able to work in areas where you say, I'm going to identify what is the cyber threat, and I'm going to work in the team which prevents cybercrime from happening. I'll repeat, you're going to identify the threat, then you're going to work with the team which is going to prevent cybercrime from happening. So you're going to work on the preventive side. Second is you can't prevent some cyber attacks because they're very massive, and you are going to manage it. So you're going to manage it in such a way that most of the damage does not happen and things come back normal. So you'll be working on that area where you're going to mitigate or you're going to manage a cyber attack. Third is where you're going to investigate a cyber attack. You're going to find out who did it and try to work with the police or law enforcement agencies, courts, and get this cyber criminal to, justice. They're either punished or jailed or heavily fined. So that's the other part where you're going to get into investigation. So one is you're going to work on the area where you can prevent something which is already known from happening. Second, you're going to manage some large scale attacks. Most of them are unknown or new, and try to mitigate the damage. Third is you're going to investigate. You can be in any of these areas. Okay. Again, if I take investigation, we call it as digital forensics. Then here you should be able to understand what is the digital forensic per se. What are the different methods used in this? What are the terminologies we use in this? And how do we actually do a process modeling when you say digital forensics? So if you look at certifications in cyber security, then you have multiple levels. I just give an indicative levels here. So you can probably get into certifying companies, industries, or even government how cyber secure they are. Maybe level 1 is a very basic level of cybersecurity, and level 5 is a very advanced and evolving level of cybersecurity. So if a person is, if a particular company or establishment is not into cybersecurity, you can start hand-holding them, telling them, how you can be into level 1 and grow all the way to level 5. That one not only protects your customer and data, but it also gives a lot of confidence for other companies to work with you, banks to work with you. So even this can be a very good career opportunity for you. So you have to again be very specific what you want to do. So this all comes under what you are going to learn in engineering, your degree, that is B cybersecurity, and you also have B IoT and cybersecurity. So after doing that, you can probably look at this kind of job roles. In this aerospace, you have civil aviation, and civil aviation is not just about pilots and air hostesses. It is a lot of engineering involved in that. Like it's just a representation view of one of the Boeing aircrafts. Yeah, and you can find out how many vendors have provided components for making this Boeing aircraft. That's almost 40,000 components in a typical Boeing aircraft, provided by different vendors across different countries. So whenever a flight lands and takes off, you have to do a very systematic check of all the key components. Even a small failure can actually bring a lot of danger to the passengers, also to the flight crew. So that's a very important engineering component we'll be doing on the ground. But ground in the sense, not the ground crew, you will be involved in the engineering section, in the kind of, uh, safety section. So there's a lot of opportunities there also. And the airport per se, generally we entering the airport as a passenger, getting into the flight and reaching our destination. But if you look at it, it's not so easy. You have a lot of systems even been built into your airport. Everywhere you look at engineering options available. For example, if you look at water being used in an airport, thousands of liters of water are used. So you have to find a way of you know, having a clean water, that's a water treatment plant. Then you also have to look at a effluent treatment plant, and you have to ensure that, water is always available. When you look at power, you can't imagine an airport without power. So ensuring that power is available in all the sections of airport, that's a big responsibility by itself. And this way you can look at practically every field. You can look at environment, you can look at optimizing building maintenance costs, coming with novel things like smart buildings, smart applications, or even green buildings. So many things. Practically every discipline gets a job in an airport. So today you find under Udan, a lot of airports being opened in district centers as well. So anywhere it's a small or a big international airport, typical requirements are everybody has a career. So because either we are not aware of it or we don't apply for it, we don't get that job. So please don't leave it out saying, okay, what do I do in an airport? I'm not a pilot. I'm not trained for that. So can I go inside and civil engineering degree? Will I get a job? As long as you have very specific what you want to do, there's good chance you'll get a job. Okay. So don't leave out anything. Please try to understand everything around you. You'll find plenty of jobs being created and being available in and around you only. So here also in aerospace, I given a basic representation. This again company specific. You look at NASA, then they may have a different way of career path for you. ISRO may have a different career path for you depending on their organization structure. But by and large, what a aerospace or a space industry has is, again, you find practically every discipline getting a role here. You find mechanical engineers, you find civil engineers, you find material engineers, you find architects, you find environment, you have electrical engineers. Obviously, you'll have software engineers, you'll have a lot of people involved in this. So everybody gets a job. Again, I'm trying to be sounding repetitive, but what I'm trying to stress on is have the skills. Please spend your time on acquiring the required skills. Second, be very specific what you want to work. Because this maps, they give you so many objectives, but at the same time, if I want to work only in, for example, in logistics, I should be very clear I have the skills to work in logistics. Without skills, I can't say I want to apply for a job in logistics and I should get it. No, it won't work. At least basic level skills, try to acquire that. And then everybody knows you're a fresher, so you'll be, taken at entry level, and they'll on the job you'll get a lot of opportunities of upgrading your skills, learning new things, and you start growing in the company. So whether it's India or abroad, a lot of startups are come up in space and aerospace, and a lot of jobs are being created. So don't, please do apply. Please do look at if that's an area where you want to work, and be very specific what you want to do. IoT, now don't go with just industry. IoT is used very extensively even in agriculture. Government of India is promoting IoT, AI, even drone use in agriculture in a very big way. So you'll find plenty of jobs there. So you can try to explore this kind of job opportunities as well. So what is really required is, if you look at something like IoT, then what is required? You have to map it where you want to work, whether you want to work in system management, whether you want to work in the smart applications, or you want to work on processing of data, or you want to work on the data gathering. That's where your IoT sensors, drones, cameras all will work. So how you're going to use it and collect data. So you will have multiple areas. You'll have to find out which area I want to work as a career, and then build your career accordingly. So precision farming we generally believe is just a farmer's job. No longer, it is a lot of technical inputs are coming in. We might have heard about agri-tech. So we talk about 5 layer of precision farming. Primarily, two things here. One is we're going to increase the productivity per acre. That means more crop or more grains per acre than what is done in a traditional farming. Second, reduce the losses and increase the money earned by a farmer. Today, because some are outdated or unscientific practices which are traditionally followed, there's a lot of loss even at the field level on what is grown. If you look at it, food and fruits and vegetables, what we grow in India, a good percentage of it is wasted at the field level only because we don't have proper grading facilities, we don't have proper storage facility, and the farmer cannot afford it because all this is very expensive. So today government is building those things, and when they are building those things, you get a opportunity to work in those systems as well. So you might have heard about this massive food park that has come up near Tumkur. So that's a kind of one of the initiatives there. So you can look at a lot of things happening in this space, not just in big cities, even in district centers also. And you can try to explore working in that. So you look at different areas. I mentioned about environment engineering. So this could be one area you want to work in. Same way you have how you're going to handle water. With water is for irrigation, power production, or could be one for ensuring that water bodies are pollution free, or water being used for fisheries or inland waterways or navigation. So wherever it is, you get again jobs here. So you could be working in water resources management, and then third, you're going to probably also have opportunities to work in chemical engineering. So you have a lot of opportunities like that. So what I try to do today is try to share some of it. It's like a bird eye view of what is there. But in the time available, I try to uh, share that information with you. And any questions you have, I'd be more than happy to answer that.
What
Uh,
question is there?
yeah, there's a question here. I don't know who asked this.
And many universities have started with cyber security in MTech or
Okay.
BTech. How effective is this course? Will there be a limitation doing this?
course with respect to job and knowledge?
There's no limitation per se. See, but basically the course is also getting updated almost like even this year as well. So the industry requirement, whatever is there, and also collaborating with different industries, they're trying to upgrade the courses. Now, again, if you look at just academic curriculum, that may not be enough to get a job. You have to do additional courses. And when you do additional courses, please ensure you learn these additional courses from experienced faculty or a center of excellence, not from any training center which today talks about cybersecurity, tomorrow they talk saying we are offering course in something else. Reason being that they don't have trained faculty or certified faculty. One. Second, they don't have tools. Third, they won't have lab. So without these three things, just doing a course and spending lakhs of rupees won't help at all. So please be very selective in where you want to learn it. If your college itself is offering it, well and good. Otherwise, please do a little bit of due diligence. Find out which is the good institute there, and you can learn from them. But ask this question. Please ask these questions. There's nothing like somebody will virtually teach you something and you can learn all this. No, you should have a full-fledged lab, and whoever is going to train you should ideally be certified in cybersecurity.
Thank you, sir.
Akshay is asking what are the difference between computer science and AI. Computer science and AI, if you look at from the curriculum perspective, probably the first 3 or 4 semesters or 5 semesters, you're going to learn things in common. And maybe 2 or 3 semesters, you're going to learn specifically about AI. And artificial intelligence is very much a part of computer science, but it's a very specialized area. And it's today, one of the fastest growing technology area where practically there's nowhere that AI is not used or not going to be used. So probably they thought we'll have a separate, department for separate option like BE in AI. So Shivu is asking which one is best, CS or AI. No, I would say both are best. I mean, both are good. You will have to find out where you want to be.
ಇನ್ನೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬಹುದು.
Any questions on YouTube, sir?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಬರೀ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ್ ಅವರ ಸುದೀರ್ಘವಾದ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸದಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿದು ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಭಾವಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಎರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ನೀವು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ದೇ ಇರೋ ವಿಷಯ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ ಮುಂದೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಎರಡನ್ನು ಹೋಗಿ ಅಳೆದು ನೀವೇ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ AI ಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಯಾವುದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಲಿ ಎಂಟರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ್ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸದಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಲಿ ವಿಚ್ ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಶಿವು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಅಂಕ ತಗೊಂಡು ಟಾಪ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮೊತ್ತ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ್ ಅವರು ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
No, forget the salary right now. You're a student, so please study. As I said, acquire skills. And if your skills are in demand, you'll get really good salary.
Yes.
There's nothing like general thing, you're from a college or a particular university, you get a good job or a good salary. Today, it is highly depending on skills. So please invest on learning skills, but learn them from a good center. And if you're, like I mentioned, and if you are having good knowledge of methodologies or even about architecture or basic skills, you may not be everywhere able to use it, and you're able to demonstrate that, then you should be, one of the high in demand skills. Like today, people with 1 or 2 years experience in cybersecurity with the required skills are drawing more salary than a software engineer. So it's all skill driven.
ಸೊ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಅಂಕ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಕೌಶಲ್ಯ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ವೇತನ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ವೇತನದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಈಗಲೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಮೊದಲು ವ್ಯಾಸಂಗ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ, ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಅಂಕ ಬಂದು ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂನಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲು ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ವಿಷಯ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಮೊದಲು ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಇರೋ ವಿಷಯ ಮತ್ತು ಕಾಲೇಜ್, ಯಾವ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಲಿ ಎಂಟ್ರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲೇ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೋರ್ಸೇ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಆಶಾಭಾವನೆ. ಆ ರೀತಿನೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ಲಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಾಳೆ ವೈದ್ಯಕೀಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶ್ಯಾಮ್ ಸುಂದರ್ ಅವರು ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಬಯೋಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಗೆ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಯೋಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸೇರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಸೇರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಈ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಲೆಯಿಂದ ನೀವು ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ತಜ್ಞರಿಂದ ತಮಗೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾಳೆ 11 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ 11 ಗಂಟೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ MSc Dr. Puranik for a very, very exhaustive presentation on options that the students have in the field of engineering. I am sure most of the students will be benefited by you, sir. I would like to thank you on behalf of KSTA and all the participants present here. We look forward to you for many such talks in future as well. Thank you very much, sir.
And thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity given, and thanks to all the faculty and students who attended. Best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
I take this opportunity also to thank all the participants, both students and lecturers who have joined both on Cisco WebEx and YouTube platform. We look forward to your joining tomorrow and our program in future. Thank you very much.